Hello, ID60. So you have completed the lectures, you have taken your quiz, you're ready to move on to your assignment. So this is actually a three-part assignment. So what we're going to be doing is looking at neighborhood demographics and creating a buyer persona. So the objectives are to identify key demographics and psychographic factors that influence buyer preferences, interpret neighborhood data to predict lifestyle trends and housing needs, develop a target buyer persona to inform staging and marketing decisions, and to apply demographic research to design and create a styling strategy. So what you're going to do. So this assignment will analyze demographic information for a California neighborhood and create a corresponding buyer profile or buyer persona that reflects the ideal target audience for that area. So what I have provided for you, this is a chart that you're going to go to of a bunch of neighborhoods that are in California. And you will notice that your name is here. So I have actually assigned you a neighborhood. So your name is here. The neighborhood that you're going to be styling for or creating your buyer persona for is here. And then it just gives some basic information. You're going to do a bunch more research to tell me about your neighborhood. Then I also created the demographic research template, which we'll come back to. You're going to fill that out with the information that you learn about your neighborhood. And then you're going to create a buyer profile worksheet in which you're going to create a profile for the potential buyer in that particular neighborhood. So this assignment helps bridge real estate marketing understanding with design and staging strategy, allowing you to align design choices with the people most likely to purchase in your area. So part one is the neighborhood demographic research. So you're going to find your assigned neighborhood using the chart I just showed you, and then you're going to use the neighborhood demographic research template to record details about the chosen area. So these are the categories that are in the Excel template. So instead of reading them, I'm just going to click on the template so we can look at it. And so this I'm giving to you, this is a PDF, but I'm giving it to you in Excel, so you'll be able to type directly into it. But basically it's broken into categories like population and household composition. So you're going to answer the questions here, income and employment. And again, you can do this with research. So you can use some of those sites that I recommended during the lecture. And I have to be honest, because I do all these assignments before you do them, and I actually used ChatGPT. And it sort of gave me a wealth of information, but then it also gave me the site so I could go back and look and dig a little bit deeper. So if you want to use ChatGPT for this portion of the assignment, that is perfectly okay. You're not just going to give me the report that ChatGPT gives you. You're going to actually have to read ChatGPT and copy and paste or edit into the cells in the Excel spreadsheet. So it still has to be in this format. But you're going to look at the education and the school quality, housing characteristics, location and commute, lifestyle and culture, and trends in development. And then once you have filled out all of this information, you are going to come down here and write a short paragraph that describes who you think lives there and why they would choose that neighborhood. So basically, it's a short paragraph that sort of sums up these categories. And again, if you want to hook that into ChatGPT, I am totally okay with that. So that is the first part. So that's the neighborhood demographic research. So we looked at all of these on the chart. You're going to summarize into a short paragraph. We're good. And then I even put here, note, ChatGPT can be a helpful tool when used appropriately. You're welcome to use ChatGPT along with other sources of information for this part of your assignment. Part two, buyer profile creation. So once you have done the neighborhood demographic template, you're going to complete the buyer profile worksheet. And you're going to identify and describe the type of buyer in detail that you think would live here. So let's go back up to the buyer profile worksheet. And again, I'm providing this to you in an Excel spreadsheet, so you'll be able to go in and type. But you're going to tell me what you think their age range is. You're going to tell me what the family status is. Are they single, married, etc. You're going to tell me what a possible occupation could be for somebody moving in this area. You're going to tell me their income range. And again, some of this may be researched directly from the first sheet that you filled out. You're going to tell me values. You're going to tell me their style preference, their aspirations. And a lot of this you're also, I can't think of the word, intimating. You're sort of making up, you're extrapolating from the information that you gathered from the neighborhood. The reason why they're moving, activities, entertainment, do they own pets, desired buyer emotion, key rooms to highlight, sensory elements, and how would you actually invoke those, like light, sound, texture. Do you have a scented candle going? Is there a certain kind of music playing? Yada, yada, yada. Tone of the marketing photos. So again, how should they come off? And then a key selling phrase, or you could do more than one, but sort of a short descriptive hook that you might put on an Instagram post that would immediately capture your buyer's attention. And then you're going to do 4 staging goals for this persona. So now that you know who your person is, again, like we talked about in the lecture, if it's sort of a low to medium income and they're a growing family, you may like want to stage just one of the bedrooms because maybe there's not a lot of money in the budget. You just put the little TP in there. It gives a sense of, hey, this could be a kid's room, or one of the second bedrooms, or the second bedroom you stage as an office because these are up and coming professionals. So you're going to give me 4 staging goals. How are you going to stage living room, kitchen, whatever the space may be. And then you're going to tell your story. So what story are you trying to create in this space? So you're going to write a short paragraph describing the story you want to tell to your target buyer. I have a typo there, but I'll fix it. And then you're going to give your target buyer a profile name. So let's see. I actually gave you an example. So we're here. So again, this is everything we just sort of went over in the sheet. Again, I gave you this chat GPT note. So if you want to like plug in the first sheet, like you may have your demographic research sheet complete, you plug that into chat GPT and say, come up with a profile buyer. I'm okay with that. It's kind of what I did. I think it worked out great. I did tweak some things, so don't just take it for what it is, but then you do have to copy and paste it into the proper format. So you're welcome to use ChatGPT to help you create your buyer profile. I think probably that's what's going to happen in real life, right? Like you're not going to sit there and try to figure it out when we have tools like ChatGPT. So I'm not trying to take you all backwards. We're going to use the tools when we can. So here's the example of my buyer profile worksheet. So all of that, again, I put it in chat, put the first sheet in chat GPT. It gave me some stuff. Then I had to go back and fill in some other stuff. But it gave me sort of a really nice description. And then I sort of created this, right? So how am I going to tell my story? What are the specific rooms maybe that I'm going to set up? And then I came up with the name Modern Family Nesters, and then this is the story I'm going to tell about them. So my answers in this sheet I put in red just so that you have as examples, but you're going to go through and fill it out, and that sheet you will hand in Canvas. Third and last part. So as creative people, we are all very visual. So even though this sheet is great, it really doesn't tell me anything. It like gave me clues and information, but because I'm a visual person, I want to do a visual board. So you are going to create a buyer image board that directly relates to that chart that you did above. So you're going to create a visual board that captures the lifestyle, emotions, and aesthetic preferences of your buyer persona. This board should feel like a snapshot of your buyer's world, the people they are and the home they dream of, and the design style that reflects their life in their chosen neighborhood. So you can use whatever format you want. You can use Canva, PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Word to create your board. And if you need help, there's in the how-to section on the homepage, I think it's plus other resources. All of the how-to videos are there, so you can go back, click on the PowerPoint one, so that you can see how you can edit images and things like that. And you're going to select 8 to 12 images that reflect your buyer's persona. These images should not be residential interiors. So I don't want you looking at already styled spaces and pasting those on your board. These should just be ideas, right? Ideas that capture what your buyer maybe looks like or does, activities, but they should not be residential interiors. So they should be lifestyle, neighborhood feel, values, aspirations, emotional atmosphere, color palette. You could pull a few colors and put those on there. And then I want you to include 3 things in text. I want you to put your buyer persona name that you've already come up with, the neighborhood that you are placing them in, and your key selling phrase. So those are things that you already have, but no other words should be on the board. So for this one, I do not want you to use ChatGPT or any other AI tool. I want you to go on the internet, select images, and I have to admit, I tried it. I didn't like it. Didn't work out so good. Gave me bad formatting, gave me images that were okay, but not really special. So I want this board to look really special and personalized, and ChatGPT is not there yet. Thank goodness, because it would be taking our jobs. So in this portion number 3, you may not use ChatGPT or any AI tools to create your buyer image board. These images must be individually selected by you based on the buyer profile you developed. So here is the example that I created. So my neighborhood was Leimert Park. I even pulled images like just of what historic Leimert Park looked like. It kind of went with the vibe of what my people feel like. I selected a family photo, and they're again up and coming, they're nesting, they're having movie nights in the backyard, they're entertaining, they're going to coffee shops that are local, they're picnicking, they're cooking in the kitchen. Again, this sort of candle reminds me maybe of the smell of fall, like a pumpkin spice. This is the local park that's actually in Leimert Park. This is a home that's actually a backyard converted garage. It's actually in Leimert Park. So I actually went to Leimert Park, Googled images, and pulled from those images. So you want to make sure that you're actually representing the neighborhood as well, so that you're not giving sort of a false impression. And then I just added some color squares and colors that might represent some of the paint colors that would be used as accents. So that is my board. It doesn't have to be gridded. You could be as creative as you want. Just make sure that it's organized and represents your buyer persona. Okay. And so what you're going to submit, all 3 parts are going to be uploaded into Canvas. And again, it can be a PDF or a JPEG. I don't think Excel will work when I open it on my end. And so either you can bind it all together so it's one big document, or it can be 3 separate documents, but you should not submit individual pages. Okay, so you could submit either 3 uploads. Let's see, I don't want to get the names wrong. So you can submit 3 uploads of your neighborhood demographic research, your buyer profile, and then the image board. or you can bind them all together and submit one. Okay, but you should not submit individual pages. And then the only thing you're going to be submitting to concept board is your image board. So these are going to be submitted to concept board, and I am going to tell you that this is the start of your final project. So there's no discussion this time. I just want you to submit them. If you think somebody's board is beautiful, be sure to let them know, but there's no required discussion. Okay, so I think I covered it all. The rubric is here as always. If you need help or have questions, you can always Canvas inbox me, and then I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, I hope you guys have fun. Bye.